Every once in a while, the internet thing from my hotel pops up, and please excuse that. So anyway, there's attitudes toward full inclusion. It seems that the people with more experience working with children with disabilities are less favorable to inclusion. Teachers don't, in America, we don't like being told what to do by administrators. We want to be led and we want to be leaders and we want to be in on innovation. And a lot of innovation needs to come from teachers, not administrators. And and people who run full inclusive classrooms would much rather have certain disabilities in there than others. Children with physical disabilities, they're more than welcome in a full inclusive classroom, but not necessarily the children with the behavior disorders, with the emotional disturbance. It's ironic that the more distant one is to a classroom, like an administrator or a district or a province staff, the more far away they are, the more they like inclusion. So, what does that tell you about implementing full inclusion? It's not for every child. Oftentimes, it conflicts with the high stakes testing movement, but our children are entitled to accommodations and modifications regardless of invalidating the scores. Everywhere people complain that there's no time to plan. If you're going to run an elementary school and have a full inclusive school, not only do you need to meet at each grade level, but you need to be able to have planning within subject matters as well, because if you're going to implement a fully inclusive classroom, you're going to be using materials that are not just at your grade level. Time for planning is essential. If you want your fully inclusive model to fail, don't give it planning time. You must have time to plan. And I will tell you that what evidence I've seen is that the kids with the mild disabilities, the ones I talked about with the behavior issues, they seem to do worse in inclusion. The concept of co-teaching, having a special ed teacher with a general ed teacher, it takes time and it takes training to implement. It doesn't happen naturally. People need to be able to work together. That takes some degree of time. And one of the things that we must be able to do is differentiate curriculum, differentiate instruction. The average fifth grade classroom has readers from first grade to 10th grade, a 10-grade span. Good teachers today give children material at their skill level. If you're a third grade teacher and all you use is third grade materials, you are not doing a good job. If you're a fifth grade teacher and all you use is fifth grade materials, you're not doing a good job. You must be able to know the standards for all the grade levels to fully implement a full inclusive classroom. And you must be able to make your groups flexible. Sometimes children can't be in one room all day because it would make more sense to go to a lower reading room or a higher math room sometimes. But many classrooms many schools do not collaborate and share students. And many classrooms do not differentiate instruction. There is that internet thing again. So, and large range of abilities in general education classrooms. There's a large range. And a lot of administrators don't seem to know that. I don't know how. There are positive aspects. I want you to know that I think the idea of full inclusion is a wonderful idea, a powerful idea. It just takes careful implementation. And if done well, that's the best model. But if done poorly, it's worse than any other model. I saw 70 children in a Chinese classroom with disabilities, 10 with disabilities, ignored in the back of a room. And that doesn't mean that I don't have respect for Chinese special ed, because people in my generation spent their entire career there getting children allowed to be in those schools. Differentiation is important for gifted students as well, but we don't do much for them. Children today need choices. Choices in how to express themselves. Write a paper, do a video, make a prezi, make a cartoon. Good teachers make adaptations for students. The solutions. Inclusion is not for all students. Try it with some to begin with. And administrators must be supportive, must give time for planning. If the teachers don't buy in, it won't work. And we don't tell teachers what to do. We dialogue with teachers. We teach teachers. We work with teachers. We respect teachers. It's important. What I really believe the answer is what's been referred to as responsible inclusion. Is that placement best for that individual child? Responsible inclusion. Remember that concept. And praise your teachers for working hard. Allow people to make mistakes. Often staff development, lots of staff development. Have teachers teaching teachers teaching teachers co-teaching. A school must be flexible, must allow teachers to share their students. And remember, the teacher wants to do well. They are intrinsically motivated. Lead them well. Treat your teachers with respect. Very important. My ideas. Inclusion is an individualized decision. And mixed grade grouping should occur in all classrooms. A third grader may need to go to a second grade room for reading or a fourth grade room for reading, and we need to share our students. And the concept of least restrictive environment is very important, because a child's least restrictive environment is not the same for all subjects. It might be different for reading than for math. Consider that. And when you differentiate instruction, and we must differentiate for our high learners as well as for our lower learners. Extremely important. I will be back with part 2.